All right, welcome Smart Cleaning Tribe to the April 2021 expert call with one of my newer friends, Juan Chaparro. Juan has impressed me as, accolades wise in business, really impressive. But what impresses me about Juan is he's just a very humble spirit. He's a grateful man. He's a humble man. He knows that he has tremendous blessings and he's very grateful and he's got a big heart to serve. And he's also got a 7-figure business that he manages from Miami, and his business is in Dallas, Texas. So
Correct.
that right there, like, I think what else do you need to know other than he's created a 7-figure cleaning company that he's systemized with everything in place to run it from his ideal location and live a life of freedom. Does that inspire anybody besides me? Yes. Cool. So on that, Juan, thank you so much for being here, for kicking off our Tribe 7-figure series, where our goal here is to deconstruct the 7-figure cleaning business owner. Not to talk about, well, what are you doing at 1 million, at 2 million, but really to talk about what were the struggles and the
Mhm.
wins and the lessons at each milestone. Hey, when you were at 250, what was it like? What did you learn? When you hit 500, wow, what was that like? How did you overcome the 500 hurdle and get to the like? That's what they want to know. So we're going to cover those kind of questions. Are you?
Perfect.
Do you have any opening comments, Juan?
Well, thank you, Ken. It's a pleasure to talk to you and your group. It's been, a couple of weeks since we connected, and I feel like I already know you from years ago. And I have, we have a lot of in common to share. So thank you, and it's a pleasure to be here with your group. And yeah, let's get started. I'm ready to fire here.
Awesome. Well, awesome. Maybe we can start with this. So, would you mind just kind of giving? You don't have to go in tremendous detail because we'll cover those details. Just kind of go through the arc of your company, like from where you started to like just going through building the company and having kids along the way. Then you moved to Florida. Like just kind of share the arc of your company just so people can get a feel for what you've personally done in your own business.
Sure. Well, I started about 16 years ago, my business in Dallas. I was 18, no, 21. My wife was 18. And about year 5, we started hiring people. And about year 10, we moved to Florida after reading the 4-Hour Work Week and the E-Myth, which were the main books that help us really make that jump. And about year 13 or so, yeah, we changed from contractors to employees. We had our first daughter. And then recently, 2020, we had our second daughter. And that's kind of quick, quick overview of what we've been the last 16 years. Uh, Always a challenge to grow a business in distance, but we've managed to, figure out most of it. We're still things we're working on, but most of it it's figured out, it's done. It's not as complex as you think, but that is a quick overview of where we are.
Mm. I love that you mentioned the Tim Ferriss book. That's been a big impact for me as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. What I'll start out with a question. What was it from that book that really moved the needle for you?
Um, he talks about something called, design, like design your lifestyle or your ideal lifestyle. And for us was to really be close to the ocean, be able to travel anywhere we want, anytime we want. That doesn't mean to have a lot of money to do those things, but to really have the freedom of time and location to do these things. So that book really just help us just take the believe on that concept and say, well, I think we can do it. Let's try. Why not? There's nothing we have to lose. I mean, our business was probably we were selling probably 100,000 a year at that time. So we said,
At
well,
at year 5?
yeah, about year 5. So we said, if we lose this, well, we can start something else. And that helped us make that big step, you know, trying to build it from in a distance. Plus, the E-Myth also supported that of, you know, building a system of business that will just run by itself, and where everyone has a specific role, they know what to do, and the business is not, you know, does not control you, and you need to have a system to for everything. So those two books really combine into explosive uh, knowledge for us that just say, let's do it. We had no kids at that moment, and we were very young, and you know, the internet that we have today and the connections that we have today. Back then, I was using my first iPhone, the very first one that allows to still have internet on the go, and all of that combination of things just help us move into that direction.
That was a great way to start this out. So simple. We do you just a side question. When you talk to other cleaning business owners, do you think that we complicate things?
Uh,
Softball pitch.
I think we do. And really, and I always tell people, you know, this business is pretty simple, uh, because we don't have to create a new phone, a new car, a new design every year. We're doing the same thing over and over, year after year. Is cleaning homes, taking care of floors, toilets, etc. So there's nothing really new to create. uh, the greatest or the most important thing to know is that you need to have this balance between employees and customers, and all your job is that balance. You need to have enough employees and enough customers, and you need to keep these two important people in this equation growing every month. And when you become a master at this, that's all you need to know. You know, if you can take just one thing of this call, will be that is that you have to become an expert in getting customers and getting employees. That's it. You can go home pretty much if you want it now. uh, but that is really the simplest form, if the way I see this business. There's nothing more to do that.
That was phenomenal. Thank you for starting out like that in a tone of keeping this simple. I mean, you've read through some of the questions that I submitted.
Yeah.
And I'll start with the people that are on this call. And then, as you guys know, I'm just facilitating. I'm going to ask the questions. Please, if you have follow up, like that's what this is for. Don't be bashful to ask a question. You know, Juan has been in your exact place where you're at right now. So I'll start with Kate. You have a couple questions. So, Kate, are you ready for some of yours?
Yeah, I just had somebody walk into the office with some vacuum I'm supposed to try out. So can you save me?
You me to come back to you?
5 minutes? Yeah.
All right. Okay. So we'll start with Jen. Start with Jen's question. I got down here. It really is a good way to start out. Let's do the simple one first, Jen, about the office. So let's do this one. At what point do you recommend getting an office space? Do you think keeping an office in a home and having virtual office will end up preventing growth? So this is like along the path to where you're at. What are your thoughts?
Well, you know, I've done it both ways. My own lifestyle that I wanted for my family was to be at home. So I don't think there's a requirement or you have to have an office for their business to grow. I think it does help kind of to bring, you know, the culture of the company more real when you have an office and they see each other every day or every couple of days. But there's definitely not a need of always have an office space. I do recommend that you have a warehouse, a small, you know, these extra space storage solutions where you have all your products, your supplies, and you know that's probably $80 to $100 a month, and that's very important. I've done that for years, and you know all the deliveries, all the products get to that location. The local manager opens the boxes, and then every week, and as he does these inspections, he delivers the products to the employees. But I've always maintained in the last 10 years my office from home. And then I go every uh, 2 to 3 months and do workshops. In the 2020, we did webinars. In 2021, we're doing again live workshops where we do, from about 4 hours on a Saturday, we just order lunch, have games, teach them something. We go over updates of the company, things we've done, reviews, things that really help them build that culture. But our employees are always dispatched from their home to the customers' homes. And then, they carry all their products in their cars. So this helps them avoid spending time coming to an office every day, which, if you live in a large metropolitan area, that could be an hour wasted in a day. So we always sell our job like, hey, instead of spending time driving to our office, go ahead and get to the job first. You're gonna make more money while you're cleaning, not driving to an office. So people really like that, and that's something we're very straightforward on when we hire them, and that helps them understand that. So to make your question, when is recommended? There's not a when. It's like if you want an office where you want to get out of your house and work in another location, you can do that. It could be that. But we've used a co-working space when we need to do like meetings, fire somebody, and do some type of those type of things. We have a already place where we always go, where we have our official address, and then when we need to meet person, interviews, things of that nature, we go to this location, do that, and then when finish at the end of the day, close the door, and then go home. So we use kind of that hybrid mix.
Did I hear you just kind of lead with a vision? Like, here's what I want for my
Yeah.
business, for my life. Based on that desire, that kind of shapes the answer, is what I kind of heard. Would you agree?
Yeah, totally. There's people that definitely like to be home and be able to raise their kids. And then there's people that can be at home. They just don't want to be at home all day. They just get distracted and they feel they're not productive. And then that's fine as well. You can get an office or go to a co-working space and do your work there. So it's really a personal preference of your vision, what you want. Obviously, an advantage of not having an office space, which I guess could range in $1,000 to $1,500 a year, a month, is that gets added to your net profit. So you'll have more revenue, $12,000 a year, more or less, that you can invest in other things and just make it a part of your your distribution at the end of the year. So there's an advantage of saving that money. But it really depends on your lifestyle and your vision and how you feel working, where you feel more productive.
Let's do some follow-up questions on this. This has come up recently with some companies interested in doing maybe some regions, like, hey, we're going to operate in multiple regions around the different counties and maybe setting up storage locations in various areas. I don't want to put words in you guys' mouth, but what follow-ups do you guys have on this? Kate, Jen, Michelle?
I just appreciated that it sort of affirms what I'm already doing. I know when you talk to different people who are big in the industry that, it was, business changing once I switched to having an official office, but I just can't see spending that money. Like I am far too cheap. I'm spending $130 because I've got a temperature controlled storage unit. And I'm already running, all of our supplies are running out of that. My field supervisor's there once a week, inventorying, updating, that sort of thing, managing. So she's already doing all of that. As you can see, I share my office with 2 children during the day for school.
Yeah, I see them there.
As she's wiggling around. So, I mean, it's definitely what I'm doing, but I often wonder like, if I make that next step, is that going to be a huge step forward or that sort of thing? So,
the answer is no. And as I said, it's a personal preference. You could be at $1 million a year just sitting right where you are. What you need to know and what you need to always have present is that you need to have enough customers and enough employees. They don't care if you work from home or in Hawaii or in your house or in an office, they don't care. They just want their house clean and they want their paycheck every week. Simple as that. They don't care about that.
And I can see how it would be a personal preference too, as far as like if I'm motivated at home and can stay on task and do what I need to do, and if other people need that different environment. So,
Yeah.
all right, thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Awesome. Great question. Kate, were you itching for a follow-up here too? I wasn't sure.
I really wish that I could have had more of an ear on that conversation, but I did miss it.
It's recorded. It's recorded.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, actually, Michelle, you're the one just yesterday. Are you on, Michelle? I don't see your video. I see your smiling face. Michelle.
She said she was going to be cleaning today.
Oh, okay.
So
All
she
right.
may be on mute because she's helping her friend clean.
Well,
yeah,
Michelle,
and then she made it on anyhow.
Well, Michelle, real quick,
Exactly.
Michelle, this came up yesterday about you possibly doing some expansion in different regions. Did you have a follow-up on what Juan just went through?
I guess my question would be, I mean, if I went with the route of the storage unit, I mean, is it better to like saturate one area, or is it better to kind of expand and get, you know, multiple storage locations to be able to go like further out?
Right. Good to see you, Michelle. We know each other.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, Juan.
Yeah. Look, you know, I've thought on that as well for a long time, and I always wanted to open other cities because, you know, it sounds cool to have other cities. But I've learned from, you know, some of our coaches and mentors that it's better to saturate a city or an area and get to 1 million, 1.5 million. And then if you want to go to another region, then operate it with a local partner manager that's has a skin in the game, and that they will run it basically like their own business. And I've seen this work with other colleagues and friends, and that's a way to really expand to other cities. But I mean, I don't know what city are you located at, but most of us, you know, if we're in a, you know, I've seen people in small towns selling 1 million a year, and people selling the same amount in bigger metropolitan areas. So we just need 1 million is really like 300, 350 homes recurring. And there's 350 homes around you for sure that need house cleaning. So there's so much room for growth in your current city that, you know, when you want to expand is when you really have all the systems in place and you can really kind of run like a small franchise to really be able to say, you know, I'm going to start. I already know what to do. I already have everything in place. It's just basically turning up the ads, finding people, finding employees, but everything else is copy and paste.
Right. Yeah, I was, so the reason I was even debating that is because, you know, I actually don't have any employees in the town that I service. They're all kind of in the surrounding towns.
Oh.
So then if we, you know, if I gave them kind of their own little territory and it all kind of intersected within the town that we're based out of, you know, then we could saturate our town, but then expand a little bit further outside of that radius.
And these people will be employees or 1099?
Employees.
Okay. I mean, you could do that. The thing is that if you have these smaller regions around you or areas, that if you lose this person, then you might lose those clients.
Yeah.
That could be something to think about. We typically like to, if somebody goes, then I have other employees to replace this person quickly. And then I don't lose those clients because I already have all my employees currently serve the same area. If I used to do that, I had, you know, Fort Worth was kind of like another city next to Dallas, but it's still far, it's close enough, but still far away to have somebody that lives in Dallas go to Fort Worth. And when I had a person living in Fort Worth doing Fort Worth only, and this person left the company, I lost all of those customers because I cannot send somebody 50 miles driving in one direction to get to a home and then come back to Dallas every day and make
Right.
it sustainable. So that was the problem I found with that specific model.
Yeah. I do have, so the territories that we kind of have built up right now, we have 2 people in each territory.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that does help, but,
Yeah.
it would help in the sense of like, if somebody quits, it buys me a little bit of time before, to hire somebody else in that.
Correct.
I think we're about
Yeah.
losing her, so we'll finish answering this part, and then I'll get to the next question.
Okay.
So do we lose you all together, Michelle? You may have. Okay, we may have her come back on. Let's pause that one.
All right.
But
Cool.
I like the logic that you're going through here, Juan, because I see this come up a lot, and it's like the world is bigger. Like you feel like you got to keep it's the Lorac get bigger and bigger and bigger, but like the riches and the niches, that's a real thing, right? Like you live right here. Like you read the book Acres of Diamonds.
Yeah.
So it's like acres of diamonds,
Already.
everything right there in your backyard. So take full advantage of what you've been given right there in your backyard. And then
Yep.
I like that. It's a very simple, and that's what I like about this expert call so far is how simple Juan's keeping this. I want to go to Kate's question now. Kate, are you ready?
I am.
The first one I kind of think he already answered, but let's do follow-ups on it. You want to know how does he promote his culture as an absentee owner? And I sounded like what Juan was talking about was these workshops and webinars. But Juan, you want to speak to that, and then Kate, you do a follow-up.
Sure. So yeah, during 2020 we did mostly webinars every 2 months. Teaching them about cleaning and about general just particular knowledge, but we always try to give them something for their own life, like how to do a budget, how to do something related to how to improve their health. Recently, my wife brought a panel of experts, and she noticed that our employees go through a lot of, the depression, or they have some family issues, just in general problems, family problems in general that, bog them down while they're working, and that decreases the quality of the work, and then they quit, and then they just have general this personal situation. So she said, I'm gonna do a series of webinars related to just mental health. And then we're actually going through this program right now, and basically one person is an expert in uh, health problems, mental problems, kids issues, dealing with teenagers that are in trouble. So we're doing like this every 2 weeks, and the goal is that our culture or our vision for our company is to improve the quality of people that clean the homes and our customers. So aligned with that, we are doing these webinars. Give me a second. So they feel like they're not just getting a check, they're getting more than a check. And this means getting more value out of their work. They're getting trained, they're getting knowledge. So when they're thinking of, I'm going to find another job, it's like, well, in Walmart or these other stores, I mean, they're going to pay me this or that, but they're not going to have all this personal development. So we really are big into personal development, and that's where the culture comes through.
Okay, so are your employees required to attend these meetings?
They're
And do
not
they-
required per se. We don't force it, but it's very encouraged to do, because this is the ones that we do in person. Yeah, they're mandatory. We pay them for being there. These ones that are more like personal development, coaching them, helping them, that's more optional, because not everybody might have a specific problem about something. But we've noticed that the only way to really, deliver our culture and teach it is to in-person meetings and webinars, because you need a lot of interactions and moments to really have them stick to your company and to really love your company. Because at the end of the day, what do we want out of the culture of the companies is we want them to stick to our company, to stay here, to recommend others, to love working here, to do their job with excellence, to reflect that with the customer. And that takes a lot of interactions and time, and sometimes they're not prepared mentally to do these things. So that's why we have to take them through this training, through these webinars, so they grow. So when they see the customer face to face, they're more, they're happier, they know what they're doing, they're not coming with all these troubles in their head. So all of those things are very important to really help them get through their day and to succeed. We really think that they need to succeed as a house cleaner. For us, succeeding as a house cleaner is making a good check every week, having benefits. And and we ask them, has your life improved in general from the day you started until today? And we ask them that constantly, and the answer is yes. My life is better. Look, I was able to purchase my house, I was able to change my car, I was able to send my kids to school, to college. So yes, my life is better, and that's what you want. You want them to say it's better, and that's really
Mhm.
what makes them stay longer with your company. And we are constantly asking this because we want to know that if somebody's not doing well, they will eventually quit
Mhm.
because their trouble situations, their finances, something external is going to make them quit this job. So we're trying to really equip them as much as we can to be able to go through the different hurdles in the life that everybody faces. But since most of them come from complicated backgrounds, they may most of them are single moms, have a lot of stress, 3 kids, 4 kids. They come with backgrounds of poverty. They don't have any finances or any training in that. So when you help them solve all these things that are bothering them, you're helping them grow. And that's when they say, I love this company, I love my boss, they really helped me become a better person. And that's really what makes them stick to your company and say, I won't go to this other company because what I get here is not just a check, I get more than a check. And that's really what you want to infuse in every webinar, every call that you do, everything. So that's kind of how
Juan, I think you spoke too soon when you said we can leave the call after your intro. I think right there is the point of exit. Like that was beautiful. I want to work for you after hearing that. Like that was amazing.
Thank you.
Okay, just show of hands, who thinks, and I can't see everyone on video. I encourage you, if you're able to come on video, please come on video if you're able to. Because it's much easier for Juan to connect if he can see all your faces. But I mean, just hearing that, who can see the opportunity that we all have to make a difference in our community? Like, can you see it? The vision of that? Oh, that was beautiful, man. Thank you for
Thank
sharing
you.
all that. Kate, I have you still. I got a couple questions from you that covers culture explanation point. How about you have a question just on kind of the structure, the e-myth kind of stuff, like on office staff. You want to ask that question specifically what you're looking here, job descriptions, office staff. You want to phrase that question how you'd like it?
Well, what does your office staff look like? What are the roles that you hire, and what do they do? Do you have do you have a scheduler that just does scheduling? A salesperson that just does sales, and somebody that's an office manager.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, all my model works as as I call it the virtual office, or the where I'm not in an office every day with my employees. So we have scheduler just doing scheduling. and salesperson doing just sales. Why? Because at the stage that we are, we can have a person spending 30 minutes on scheduling while the phone is ringing. So at the beginning, you might be able to go get away with just one person doing scheduling and phones. But we eventually decided that it's more efficient and is better for the scheduling person to do just the scheduling, the sales do the sales. Why we did that? Because obviously, as I said, volume but is very important, because somebody that's doing scheduling is very method oriented, is task oriented. Somebody that's doing sales is very people oriented, likes to talk, likes to communicate. And when I see my scheduler and my salesperson, when you put them next to each other, one is super quiet, the other one wants to talk all the time. So one is a shark, the other one is like another animal. It's just, they're very different people, and you can combine them in one. It's hard. It's very hard to really get the best out of when you mix these two. So my recommendation is to always separate as soon as you can these positions. That's why somebody, just hang up the phone, solve the job, next call, sells the job, and she's just selling. And then the other person is just sitting, scheduling the job, putting in the right place, the right employee, moving appointments, because the scheduling takes a lot of time. Is what I hear the most complain about people is like, I'm tired of scheduling, and everybody's just tired of it. And I did my sales in scheduling for years, and it's just hard. I think it's one of the worst things of our business is that part. So when you have somebody doing both positions, you're gonna burn them quickly. So whenever you can, as soon as you can, separate them. And then those are basically the two in the office. They're virtual, they're in other countries doing this. The person on the boots on the ground, then this is a local manager that's in charge of the storage, in charge of delivering the products to the employees. We don't have our employees go to our storage and kind of get the products from the storage. I think that's a waste of time. They're gonna grab a couple of sponges and bottles, and here this, they spend 30 minutes for an hour doing this. I'd rather have them cleaning homes, taking care of customers, and then I have this local manager person, managing the storage and delivering the products every week, every 2 weeks. And then when doing that, he's doing the inspections. So that's kind of how we do office. Obviously, we have a social media person, graphic design, web design, and then other, those are kind of people in our office that work just for us full time. And there's obviously some other third-party people that do some other specific smaller roles. But we do control of our marketing or design or graphics or web development. We are very big into web development, so we control all of that in-house. But the key roles, the scheduling and sales, for sure, you need to know these people and train them very well. Hope that answers the question.
At what point, just to go deeper, at what point did you make that switch, or did you always separate them? At what level of your business did you make them individual workers?
You mean separated the scheduling from sales?
Yes.
We did it this past year.
Okay.
But I should have done it earlier.
When should you have done it looking back?
I think as soon as you can afford both people in the office, you should do it, because you're going to start to sell more if you have one person just selling. Because if this person that's supposed to be selling is not picking up the phone because she's scheduling, then you're losing sales. So as soon as you can have two people in your office working, do it, because you're going to grow. If you wait too long, then you're going to hinder the growth and lose sales, leave money on the table. So as soon as you can, do it. I think probably that could be 500,000 a year.
Okay.
400. I think that's reasonable.
Okay. Awesome. Ursula, you had your hand up. Was there a follow-up question you had on this?
Yeah, you read my mind, but the question you say, this is
You were going to ask at what point?
at what point from revenue did you suggest we can do that? Well, I am in New York City because it looked like I just start to watch the video. It looked like he has that the same structure. We have like a storage, but he's more organized. But my point is, at what level from revenue we have to be to separate between salesperson and schedule.
Yeah. Yeah, so you did answer that. And Juan, just a quick introduction. Ursula, she's from Peru and she came to the United States to, to get her MBA, to pursue a career. And I mean,
Cool.
she's been wanting, I mean, best I can tell, she wants to build an absentee business and go back to Peru. So that's kind of what her dream and vision is. So this is a big help to her.
Cool. Well, welcome, Ursula. And I speak Spanish. If you ever need something Spanish, let me know.
Gracias, hermano. Gracias.
Bueno, Dios te bendiga.
And Ursula does an amazing job speaking English on here. She speaks better English than I do. So, next question. Yeah, Jen's shaking her head. Better believe she does. All right, next question. So Kate, there's a couple of years. We can probably just knock out Kate's questions. Boy, this is an interesting one. You want to, okay, this background for this question one. I have a personal, so I help these guys set SMART goals at the beginning of the year and their vision, their goals, and action plan. And what came out of Kate's goals for this year was she read Profit First. I'm sure you're familiar with that kind of mindset.
Yeah.
And she wants to grow her profit percentage, about 1% every month and just grow from percentage A to percentage B. So she's kind of looking at, okay, well, at different milestones, what percentage should you expect to kind of keep on profit at maybe 300,000, 500,000, 700,000, 1 million? Like what do you think is reasonable at each level?
Sure. Obviously the more the percentage changes as you grow, or it kind of diminishes a little bit as you grow because you have more office staff and more people doing what you were doing. So at the beginning, we typically do all the sales, the scheduling. So we're not paying anyone. So our net profit our margin is bigger, right? But we're selling, let's say 250,000 and we're doing a lot of the work. Now you start to hire somebody, then your profit goes down, but your overall sales should go up. So basically, the more you grow, the percentage shrinks a bit, but you're selling more volume per year, right? So I like to stay between 18 to 20%. That's my goal, to stay at 18 to 20% net profit. When you're smaller, you're
at the level you're at, Juan, at this level over $1 million, you like to stay at 18, 20%.
Yeah,
so
that is the goal.
Okay.
That is the goal. Sometimes it's a bit more or a bit less, but that is a range we would like to stay. Sometimes we invest more in, right now, for example, we're doing some new training videos, and that's eating up revenue. It's costing money. So our net profit is going to be smaller, but I'm doing that because I've noticed that the only way to really deliver a consistent cleaning and everybody be on the same page is to always constantly see the same videos, same training, same content, exactly the same. So for me, I'm losing revenue or profit in this moment, but I'm gaining retention, employees staying longer, customers staying longer, less complaints, less refunds, less problems. So that's basically where we're kind of reducing our net profit. So
what about $500,000 as a perspective? More like 25%, do you think?
I think 23, 25. I've seen people making 30%, but obviously they're doing all of the work themselves, a lot of the office work. And some people, I've seen people at $1 million still doing a lot of their payroll, office work, running the company, and they just, they take more home, but they're working a lot.
What do you say to the person that's just grinding away toward $1 million, and they're paying themselves an owner's comp that's, it's probably small, and they're keeping 3-4%, but I'm just grinding, I'm getting to $1 million. What do you say to that person that's not even looking at their profits like that?
I think, depends on your personal goals. If you're maybe wanting to pay up your home quickly, or you want to save for something specific, then it's worth doing for a certain amount of time. But it took us 13-14 years to get to $1 million, but I've seen people do it in 5 years with the right knowledge. I think if you can sustain for 4 or 5 years, that's healthy. If you have to go 10 years on this, I think you're gonna break eventually. So I recommend that you start hiring. The most difficult position will be at least scheduling, and then you'll see that, oh gosh, money is important, but it's not as important as having time to do other things, or to start another business, or to go to school, or whatever. So at some point you're gonna burn out and say, I'm tired of this, I just need to hire people, and then you're just gonna do it. But you can do it for a period of time while you get this specific goal. But you just plan that 18 to 20% is the normal range when you have a fully staffed team, and you're just being the manager of the owner, or you being the business owner. You run the company, but you're not required every single day to do something in the office.
What do you think, Kate? Does that give you some good guidelines?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We do have a question, hands raised. Is that Heather up there? Yeah. Heather, you have a question?
Hi guys, taking a walk. So
good.
So I had a question. He had mentioned that I guess it was maybe his manager or field supervisor about the supplies to his team. He didn't want them wasting time going to the storage. So does the field supervisor give that stuff out, or do the girls just have their own they keep? I may have missed it. We have work going on here, so it got a little loud.
If I understood correctly, you want to know if the manager goes and picks up the supplies or the cleaners?
Yeah, because you said you had storage. I thought I heard you said you had storage units, and you don't want them wasting time going there and taking an hour to do that when your supervisor could. I wanted to make sure I heard that right.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, only the manager or local supervisor just manages storage. You don't want the employees going through the products, maybe stealing stuff. I'm not too concerned about that, but it's just practicality reasons. You don't want a lot of people driving to saying, hey, I'm late because I had to stop by for XYZ product. Or maybe say, I have to go overtime today because I still need to go to the warehouse and get stuff. So if you have this local manager doing the inspections, then he's delivering the products at that same time. So you're killing two birds with one stone, and that's gonna help be more efficient at your operation.
Yeah.
And okay, I just wanted to clarify that. That's all.
Yeah, and Juan, I think you also said that same manager that's checking out all the storage units. I think you said you had them sometimes do the inspections too, as the dual role.
Yeah, he does. He does the inspections at the same time.
So you have I like you're putting people in one role and having them do that one role. That's what I'm hearing repeatedly. Like, I have a sales manager, he's doing sales. I have a scheduler, he is doing scheduling. I have an employee cleaning, they're doing cleaning. I have a manager that manages storage and doing inspections. Like, I hear people with very distinct roles. Tell me, just as a question, when did you realize in your systems, and at what level did you realize you needed to separate that? Like you already kind of answered it for one, but as a whole, where did you start to see that becoming a problem, and when did you make that change?
Because when you have people doing several roles, they don't do anything with excellence, or they can really excel at that position. So they tend to be mediocre or just simply don't achieve the goals. So I've noticed that, the more clear their job is and the, less bells and whistles you have to do, they tend to perform better. And I guess it's just the law of focus, I guess. Just, if you're focused on just one thing, you're gonna be faster, better at that thing versus doing multiple things. So that's why we kind of separate people into one role, that let them do that role. Sometimes there's not enough work for that specific small role. So maybe just hire somebody, third party, to help you with that specific role, and then just pay that person just, for example, to do your, your social media stuff. You can do that, just to have someone do that, and you don't have to have a full salary for this person, but just have them do that one thing and do it well. And that's where, it kind of reduces, like, oh gosh, I forgot about that. That falls through the cracks. Didn't notice this problem. And, it really keeps, and for you to manage and monitor their job is easier because, okay, sales, what is your goal? Okay, well, you achieve it or not? No. Okay, good. Scheduling, then you can, as a business owner, you can monitor that easier, because you know what you're looking for in that specific position. And so that's kind of my answer for that.
You just dropped a gigantic nugget here. That was amazing. So you set people up in their own role, allow them to focus, but it also gives you a way to track their performance because you've given them one task. How are you doing that one task?
Yeah.
And so I have to ask, are you keeping some kind of a metric dashboard on each person? And and performance reviews, if they're not doing good, like, I kind of throw in there with some questions of my own, but what do you do in that case? Like monitoring, tracking, performance, correction?
Yeah, I do have like a tracking spreadsheet for each person. And when I see it, I can quickly say, oh, okay, she's doing her work or not. And daily they have to update the spreadsheet with whatever they did that specific day. And then at the end of the month, I check the spreadsheet and assign, I post comments. So for example, salesperson didn't achieve the goal. Then I say, hey, good job, but you didn't achieve the goal. What can we do to get there? What's needed? What can we improve to really get to that goal? And then it becomes like a mini review every month of what they're doing. And that helps you, especially in sales. You can spot quickly if somebody's doing a good job on sales or not. If you see only zeros, no activity, no sales, no calls, no quotes, no bookings, you know exactly what you have to do next month.
Yeah, you can zero in on one specific area of your company because one person's doing it.
Yeah.
And did you say you started this at $1 million plus, or you started doing this earlier?
No, like last year. Yeah, last year. I should have started a lot earlier. It's not hard. And every employee that you hire, you tell them that they have to fill this every week, every day, and then if they achieve these specific goals of sales or bookings or any amount of anything that you want to track, say, then it's gonna be a small bonus for this, another bonus for that. So they kind of have their salary or their hourly rate plus some additional bonuses if they excel or meet the specific goals that you want them. So they have this motivation of, oh, I can make more money if I help the company grow the company.
And I think you recommended before this type of thinking, you brought it in at $1 million, but I wish I would have brought it in at 400. Is what I think you said before.
You can start it as soon as you have people working for you. Many office staff you have in your office, just start it now. Yeah.
Any follow-up questions on this? This is a very big topic. Go ahead, Jen.
So I'm working on this now with my field supervisor and doing the quality checks, and she also manages the supplies and that sort of thing. I'm just curious if you have any idea what the numbers are of how many employees you have and how many checks is that person doing in a week. I'm just curious. I mean, I've got 8 employees, and just thinking of logistics, like how does that work? How often is she or he delivering the supplies to them, that sort of thing?
Yeah, he has to do every day 3 house checks,
Okay.
and then he has to deliver the products to those 3 people that day.
So
Sometimes
they know.
There's products that, you know, somebody calls, hey, I'm this tool broke or something happened, or I need more of these products. Suddenly I notice I don't have enough. Then, you know, he has to reroute his day and just go and do that specific thing. But the goal is that at least he's seeing this employee every 2 weeks to 3 weeks. That's checking his job and then giving them the products and supplies. So,
And does he just keep a stash in the trunk of his car, or do they request ahead of time what they're looking for?
yeah, he has, we have a small, like a Scion Toyota, little compact
Yeah.
minivan type of thing. We just did a wrap a few days ago, actually, with the company logo. And yeah, he basically has, you know,
Small
products,
warehouse.
sponges, just like a bit of everything that he has in the storage.
Okay.
In there. So, you know, if somebody, for example, breaks a vacuum, then, you know, he has a vacuum there ready to go, some parts. So it's just carrying a mix of everything. And, you know, and he's always close to the storage. So if anything he needs, he can just drive to the storage. So, but yeah, it's
And
not complicated.
is he also responsible for the ordering of the supplies and this, like making sure everything's there, or is that a different hat?
He mentions when we need, for example, since our office people are not looking at the products and supplies every day, he says like, hey, Jael, we need a couple of vacuums, please order them. And then the scheduling person is the one that makes the orders. So she goes to Amazon or whichever website we have. And then typically I like Amazon because the speed of delivery, and also they have something that's for businesses, which you have to approve the order as a business owner. So like, oh, she goes and buys 4 vacuums, then you have to approve the 4 vacuums. So they just don't purchase stuff without your authorization. You have to approve the order. And sometimes it's like, I reject it and say, sorry, those vacuums are too expensive. Look for refurbished ones. And then she goes back, looks for because I mean, the office person she just orders, you know, but sometimes you overpay for things. So you can say, no, go back and look for refurbished machines. We don't need new machines. They're going to break in 6 months. So why pay for a new one? Just get a refurbished one. And then I have to sometimes do those adjustments. But as you train this office person, then she's going to know that, you know, the products that you use, the preferences, and everything that you already, obviously I recommend that you have a list of all the products that you use. And then they just go by that, the hyperlink, they go to that thing and they just purchase it and then delivers it to the storage. But I mean, the manager could do this, the local person could do this, but you know, I rather spend his time checking houses, checking employees than on a computer ordering stuff. Because if he spends an hour doing ordering products, that's an hour he's less out there checking employees and checking houses. So again, keeping people in like one quick specific role is a lot easier for you to manage.
Let's move over to another subject. We got about 30 minutes left. I want to make sure we can respect Juan's time. This is amazing, really is. And I like, Juan, that you have the ability to reject, because you have your eyes set on 18 to 20%, and
yeah.
I can't allow all, because I have a goal to hit too. So I like that you always know your numbers. Is it fair to say you always know your numbers?
Yes.
And is that pretty important as a business owner, that they should all know their numbers at all times?
They should. They should always keep a target of how much payroll is going to cost, what the office staff is going to cost, and what should be their net profit.
That was a little commercial. Thanks for doing that for me. Our next expert is basic accounting and how to read cash financial statements and to know your numbers. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go to. Well, I may as well just toss out Kate's last question. This is the one that I think will set you up nicely, Juan, for some of the things that I'd like you to share anyway. Kate wants to know: have you found it difficult lately to hire?
Definitely. The current conditions of or stimulus checks, and plus people getting their taxes back, their refunds, all of that, I feel has created a lot of, I mean, and I don't see it only my business. I see it a lot of people that are in our groups, and there's definitely a shortage of workers out there. So there's less people, I think, at this time of year than last year and previous year looking for work or available for work than this year. And the economy is getting again back on its feet. And there's, we're in springtime, which is the busiest the time of year. So those two things have created that this is harder to hire people now. So we have to be more effective at hiring than before. And there is a higher cost to find people, so you have to spend more money on ads and Indeed or whatever system you're using, because there's more companies hiring and than there is people out there looking for work. Yeah.
Anyone want to follow up on that? This has been a big topic lately. It's just he's agreeing with you. You're not crazy. It's hard. Do you want to share? How does your software that you developed, does that help with this? Or I don't know if that's a good time to bring that up. Your pipeline. Maybe this is a good time to share that, because I'd love to hear more about that myself.
Yeah, definitely. Well, back in 2018, we were close to hitting that. We were probably at 700,000 a year or so. And we've noticed that we were just not able to keep up enough employees, and there were more customers coming in. So we said, well, we have to find a way to really find employees faster, better, easier. Because, I mean, this is really a house cleaning company is really, its only job is to find people for other people to clean homes. That is our one thing we can delegate, really. So I have some background in software development, and I brought a team and say, let's try to build something that will help us make this process faster and better. And I said, well, let's build like a funnel, something that will let me funnel people through, and then I can see who should I pick or not. And then we did that, and we've noticed that we are able to differentiate good applicants for bad applicants by giving them a score. So there is this concept called lead scoring. You can look and search this lead scoring, and you typically is done for customers. So if the customers are qualified, they have certain points, then we follow up with this customer or not. So I can apply that concept to finding people, employees. So everybody that applies to our company gets a scoring from 0 to 25 points. And those points are earned by the answers they give you in their application. So if they have a car, yes, they get a point. If they have their insurance is up to date, they get a point. If they have availability from Monday to Friday, 8 to 5, they have a point. So all these questions add up to 25 points, and that's considered an A player for us. So if somebody gets 12 points, I'm not gonna look and follow up this person, because I know they are missing a lot of the things that I need. So this software that we created really helps business owners, specifically cleaning business owners, to really determine who should I pursue or not. Because we spend time talking to the wrong people, and we really need to spend time, just a few hours we have a week for this, spend it on the right people. And that's where I bring this concept of you could be efficient or effective. And there's a big difference in these two things. Effective is doing something with less resources, faster, right? Uh, in some way, use less resources. But when it comes to hiring, you need to be more effective. And effective is really achieving that specific goal that you want. And what is that goal? You need to hire somebody that lasts a couple of years, that cleans homes very well, and won't quit. So we need to focus and try to find these people, because I can interview a lot of people, but they might not work. I want to interview out of this group of people, just the 3 or 4 that will stay long with my company. So our software is really built around that. Our system recommends you, once they apply to your job, our system recommends them and scores them and gives them a color, red, yellow, or green. And you know that whoever has a green color on their application, then that's a person you want to talk to.
How many, if you could put an estimate on it, like looking at the final process, so application stage, they're getting points and they go red, yellow, green. And then from application, you'll do maybe I don't know your system, but like a phone interview or in-person interview. Like, can you give an idea of like the numbers there, like out of 100 applicants, how many make it through stage 1? How many make it through stage 2? Do you have any feel for that? Just out of curiosity.
It varies depending on the region of the country and also the season. So typically from 100 people, you'll probably get 25 to 30 that are green or, A players. But from those 30, really you end up hiring 5 to 6 people that stay with you and stay a couple of years with you. And then you have another group that stays probably less than a year. So I'll say that of those 100 people, you probably end up hiring 10, and 3 or 4 will stay with you a couple of years. So.
And do you mind if I just follow up on that? Because they're probably thinking it. So yeah. 25 to 30, are you physically, or someone, the hiring manager, are they calling all 25 of those green lights, or are they phone interviewing them first, or doing an in-person interview? Like, what's that look like next?
Yeah, during COVID, it was mainly, we always do a quick call to kind of verify that they do have a card, that they do have proper documentation for work. So we do kind of like always an initial call. If we like that initial call, everything looks good, then we do in-person interview. We go to the to our share space or office, and then interview them in person. That's what we're doing again now this year. Last year, we did a lot of Zoom, and then very few then in person. But yeah, he's the hiring manager or the supervisor is in charge of this process. So that's.
So they interview all verified green candidates.
Yeah.
This is brilliant. So this is something you created on your own? Like, this is yours?
Yeah, we built it internally for my own cleaning business, but then we released it last year in March as a separate own software for other cleaning business owners, so they can save time in doing this.
I want to make sure I get that what's that website so I can get that down in my notes?
It's Pipe Hire HRM.
PipeHireHRM.com.
PipeHireHRM.com. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Wow. Did you guys find that pretty awesome? I nerded out there. Jen, you have to get going. Jen, did you have any final questions before you leave? Are you good?
I'm good. I'll thankfully just catch the last 15 minutes or whatever on record, so no worries. Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Thank you. Have a great day, Jen. Bye-bye.
Awesome. All right, that covers a bunch of topics here. I have a couple questions from Hannah. She couldn't be on the call. I'm just
Okay.
going to ask this one here. I mean, this is one that covers probably three people's questions. Can you maybe just go through best you can remember, Juan, like speed round, like, hey, when I was at level A, and you can define levels however you choose, like maybe it was 250, 100,000, then 250, then 500, then 750. You've already mentioned a few. Can you just put your back into that time machine and say, you know, when I was at this, here's what I struggled with, and what I learned from it. Could you maybe share a few of those milestones just to give people like a track to follow?
Sure. I think from 0 to 50, you're really learning how to operate a business, how to do payroll, how to manage, a real business. I think below 100, you're just still learning how to operate a simple business. But between 0 to 250, you kind of have to, or the struggles were to really, how do I become an entrepreneur? How do I run a business? How do I stay compliant with, with the workforce commission and the payroll stuff, and just kind of like getting ahead of accounting, numbers, reports. I think that's the kind of the struggle at that point. Then probably to 50 to 500, you kind of know already these things, but uh, then the problem of hiring people becomes more real, because now you need 4 to 8 employees, and they start to gossip, they start to not behave. Then you have to fire people, then you have to find new people. So this problem of hiring really becomes real at that stage. Um, then 500 to 750, you start to really, the challenge is to really organize your office staff, to do sales, to do the marketing, to do scheduling properly, to not waste time. So you really have that challenge of becoming really more of an office person and how your office staff works. And then probably 750 to 1 million, you have the challenge of, again, like you're growing, you know how to get customers, but you need to find people again. So you need to find people faster than before. You need more people than before. You need 18, 20 employees to constantly be working. So that is the challenge at that point. Um, and also then you start to need a manager to replace some of the tasks that you do as a business owner. So then you have to teach other people to manage your employees, your company. That's kind of our challenge right now, is to really be able to have, a solid manager that will operate our business and manage the people like we will do it. So we're going through that challenge now. Um, and I've seen people in the groups that I belong to that are, million plus. Um, the biggest problems at that point is always, management, office staff, growing to other cities, expansion. But the hiring problem is always there, uh, because that's really what people pay us for, is to find people to clean their homes. So the more we keep growing, that problem keeps persisting. We're better prepared for sure. We have better systems, we have better processes. We've interviewed a lot of people before, so we know what works, what doesn't work. But managing people is always a challenge, and we just have to become great at it, because that's the one thing customers pay us for, is to find people.
When did and inside? I was writing all this down. At what point did systems become a nice to have to a, oh my gosh, I need systems really working for me?
I think at 500,000, you really need to have, a good marketing system, accounting, payroll. All of those things need to be very well running pretty well. You could be doing some of those things, but when I started, I mean, back then we didn't have so much software like we do today. So we used to do our accounting in a spreadsheet. Now we have QuickBooks and we have other softwares for that. So, I mean, nowadays, there's definitely a lot easier to get started in a cleaning business than 10 years, 15 years ago. There's more competition nowadays for sure. But, this country is so big, it's so amazing that there's always opportunity for everyone. And, you could start today and be a million in 5 years. And nobody's going to even notice it because there's so much need for this service. Everywhere you look, there's people needing to have a clean house. And as I mentioned before, you need 300 to 350 customers recurring to hit a million.
Mm.
And you don't need 10,000 customers. You don't need a million customers. You need just 300, 350 homes that will trust your service. Called you your cleaning service.
Yeah.
So
that was excellent. And kind of the other piece to Hannah's question was, it's a looking back thing. You've laid out this how it should go, and I'm guessing a lot of that's from personal experience. And she's asking in hindsight, or actually this is kind of this is kind of Jen's question too. I'm sorry. Yeah, here it is. So maybe point out one thing, like, what, going back, I really wish I would have done this differently at this point, and I waited too long. You've already shared a few of those, the specific roles of people. Is there anything else you can think of that I waited too long?
I mean, always, and it still happens to us, is firing people faster than we want. There's always
inspiring people, you said, to inspiring people?
Firing.
Oh, firing people.
Firing people, yeah. We always try to be as nice as possible to give them different chances, opportunities to really, improve their quality or just become in general better employees. And we always have this hope for they're going to change, they're going to become better. But, typically we need to fire people faster. That's always been a problem we had. And we just believe in people that they're going to change, or through our webinars, they're going to become better. They're going to stop.
What helped you take the emotion out? Did you have a scorecard for people? Like, cause that's something I see in this group here. You get emotional around your people and they don't want to, like, that's a great point. How do you remove the emotional part of that?
I think it's hard to remove it really. I mean, obviously, if I'm not seeing them every day, it helps because I don't build that close. I don't get too attached to them if I'm not seeing them every day. But still, their families. You've seen them in their, in Christmas, and you know that if you fire this person, they're gonna have a big impact in their life. So I don't think that's gonna go away ever. But as you grow, if you have somebody causing a lot of issues and troubles, then it's going to impact the rest of employees. So you have to kind of get rid of those people faster as you grow, because the image of the company, the reputation of the company is more important now, and you need to protect that because you're protecting other people's jobs as well. So
that right there, that's the nugget right there. So you were too nice for too long, and that hurt your image and reputation early, and you realized, you know what, being nice to one person is hurting 10 others.
Yeah,
definitely. Is that fair?
That's fair.
And by the way, when I keep looking over, I'm just taking a ton of notes.
Yeah, that's fine.
This is wow. Let's go into our last couple questions. Is there a follow-up on any of this stuff that we just went through? And then I'm trying to get through all the questions. There's so many, and I just want to try and get these in. Is there a follow-up on hiring or something, what Juan's talking about here? If not, I'm going to go to the next question. Okay. There's not. Let me ask this question for Lizzie. Wasn't able to be on the call. Now, Lizzie, background, she's taking a month off to go to Puerto Rico with her family. and she's stressed because she's trying to get everything in place, and she wants to do the Tim Ferriss thing, the 4-hour work week, and go see what happens to her business, see where it breaks and fix what breaks, right? That's the typical 4-hour work week. I think this is a smaller question, but she'd just like to know, actually, maybe you can give her a tip on that. What things that she should look for as you want to take a month away from your company. And her other question here, Juan, is what accountability systems do you have in place for your office manager? So maybe if you can hit both of those, if that's not asking too much.
Sure. The accountability systems is what I mentioned before, is having like spreadsheet for each position on a daily basis. They have to update it based on their roles. So if they, for example, they have to check 3 houses a day, then he needs to update that, he went to 3 houses today or just 2. And then every day, besides that spreadsheet, I have him fill a report, a daily report that just summarizes everything that he did. And also, for example, if there's complaints or cancellations in the company, that's not part of his role per se, but he needs to ask the scheduling person, hey, how many cancellations we had today? So he knows he can then relate, oh gosh, it's too many cancellations. I need to find better people. I'm not training them well enough. So it's important for him to be aware of sales as well, because his training impacts directly the quality of the service, which impacts the sales. So those things will help you keep more accountable people with you. The other part of the question was exactly what?
It was like the Tim Ferriss 4-hour work week. She wants to take a month off, and she's struggling to get the employees in place. But just a tip, and this is a question, for a multiple question thing, becoming an absentee owner, whether it's for a month or for long term.
Yeah.
Something like, what's a big tip that helped you make that move?
Definitely have, tracking of everything that your business vital statistics are, sales, payroll. All of those things should be pretty well automated, specifically payroll and all of that. If you're doing payroll still, that's a problem, because you can take a break with that. If you're paying every week, you're gonna be stressed out every week thinking to pay these people. So my recommendation is you have that systematized or outsourced to somebody that's doing that. And then the person, this manager that's handling the hiring and firing, he needs to be pretty on board with the company. He should know how to operate the company. If there's a complaint that somebody broke something that's critical, that you don't have to go there in person to solve this problem. So this person should be able to be in front of the customer, talk to the customer, solve the problem, calm the customer, and then find a solution for this problem. That way, if you're in Europe month and somebody damages an expensive piece of equipment in the house, you know that what happens next, what has to be done, insurance, etc., etc. That way, your vacation is not spoiled by these type of situations, because the more people that you have, the more problems that are going to have, more complaints, more damages, more breakage. It's just the nature of the business.
You just knocked out 4 questions with that answer. I just looked at it. I mean, talk about effective, as you mentioned before. You're even in answering our questions. All right. So final question, at least from my list, and I don't want to keep you over. I just really appreciate you doing this for us, Juan. Yeah. This one's from Ellen. I want to make sure I get hers answered. What types of advertising has returned the best ROI, and what types or processes have resulted in the most leads? So growing your business from we talked about the employee side, customer side. What are you finding is working? Advertising or ROI, etc.
Sure. I'm a big person on good branding and good design in everything that you do. So we used to have a different name years ago, and we changed it to what we have now. And I went through a couple of books on branding, how to create a memorable brand. Because at the end of the day, you can spend a lot of money on paid advertising, Google Ads, and just different type of paid advertising. But if you don't have a memorable name that you will remember, then the customers saw your piece of advertising or in a website, and then they just forget about it because your name is not memorable. So we have to come up with a name that's unique, that can be remembered, that can be, that's a sticky in your head. So that's why we spend a lot of time rebranding our business, invested in better web design, better photography, and that's been for us one of the biggest things that pay off. I've looked at a lot of cleaning businesses websites, um, and believe me, there's still a lot of room for improvement. And we think that good photography, good branding, images, copy, landing pages, anything that's related to your business, business cards, postcards, anything that you do as a marketing piece has to be an amazing piece. And that's going to give you that branding power that people will remember you in their head to purchase now or in the future. So that's kind of my go-to strategy for that. Obviously, that's more of a long-term type of thing. Now, for short-term, you really need to, get customers in the door today. Obviously, you have to spend money on ads. Typically, Google Ads is really the biggest, and Yelp ads as well. Those are the two biggest things that we've spent on. Recently, there's
what was the second one? I'm sorry. This
Yelp.
Oh, Yelp.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's times of the year that we have to increase those budgets, but most of the year we try not to spend a lot of money on those, because we use another strategy that we've built is mainly text marketing. So if you've been in business for a couple of years, you might have a list of 5,000 people that contacting you through the years. And we normally, when we have openings in a specific day that this day is looking pretty empty, we send a text message to people in that specific zip code or that specific part of the city, and then offer them a specific promotion for that specific day. So we rely a lot on text marketing, because it's immediate, it's responsive. People say yes, no, thank you, whatever. And we've noticed that is the fastest way to really get an answer. Email works still, obviously, but our emails are full of stuff from so many companies these days that it's hard to really stand out in your inbox. So the text message, boom, hits your phone, you see it, and you say, oh yeah, I'll delete it, or I'll reply. And it's instant. The email, if you send me an email now, it's gonna take me hours to get to you, because I have thousands of emails there trying to get my attention. But a text message, I respond faster. So that's I guess my answer for marketing advertising.
When you look at, and that is brilliant how you fill in those empty spots with texting, would you say how much of a profit boost was that? Because all those empty spots, you lose a lot of money, but then you fill them back in with a text blast. Is that like that's a couple percentage points, I would think.
I haven't gotten a specific number of how that impacts or what percentage that is out of revenue, or I just know that when we have empty spots, we use this strategy and it works, and we get the schedule filled. Because if I have 1,000 people in an email list, the chances that if I need to fill a spot by 12 noon, the chances that those 1,000 people that I get my email will open the email and will reply by noon, is none, pretty much. because email is not immediate. Email is for whenever you have time to look at this email, read this email. People are not waiting on their email, waiting, oh, let's wait for new, a couple of emails from other companies, what they're trying to sell me. They're not doing that. They're not waiting for that. But instead, they are on their phone, talking, whatever they're doing on the phone, and texts are urgent, are considered something important. So you have to use this strategy with a lot of, you have to be careful. You can't just blast every day. You have to do it when you need to fill a spot for that specific city or the specific part of the city, and just send it to people in that city, in that zip code, not the whole list.
Targeted.
It's targeted, yeah. You have to segment the list by zip code. Because if you blast everyone every time, they're not gonna believe you next time because, oh gosh, I get this same text every week. This is just another piece of marketing. But when the text is random, it's like every couple of months I get this text, then it's real. They do have an empty spot today. It's not just one another piece of marketing that's getting to my inbox.
That was probably one of the coolest ideas I've heard all year. One.
My computer crashed, so probably you're not seeing me, right?
No, I can see you, but you froze, but I can still hear you.
Yeah.
I just said one. That was one of the coolest pieces of. That was one of the coolest ideas I have heard this whole year.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just sometimes I think you might lose sight of this being where you're at, but the things that have become normal to you are mind-blowing for someone that's trying to get where you're at. Would you agree?
Totally. It's really I forget about these strategies, and I don't think there are anything special nowadays, but yeah, I mean, they are amazing. They work amazingly. Let me jump on my phone here.
Oh, it's fine. We're wrapping up. I've kept you 6 minutes long, and you didn't yell at me. No, this is great. Do you Tribe? If you found this helpful, maybe go
Very much. Thank you.
Any takeaway, Kate? Just for for Juan, just to kind of get some feedback. What do you find has been so helpful for you?
I liked having. I feel like I have a good footing on where I should be at the point that I am at. Like, how you broke it down into the revenue points.
Yep.
So that was really helpful for me. Because it's just sometimes seems like you're either day to day and I don't know if, I don't know if I'm doing it all right. I don't know. And so that solidified where I'm at, which is good.
Okay.
I also struggle with firing people. I think a lot of us probably do.
Yeah.
So, but that was a good tip. If you're not firing somebody, you're actually taking that job away from somebody else that needs it or, would benefit more from it. So,
yeah, those are a couple good ones.
Yeah.
Let me just, Ursula, fellow Spanish speaking business owner, what were your takeaways from what Juan's been sharing here today?
About from the location, from the storage.
That helped you a lot?
Yes.
Good. Awesome.
To have a salesperson and another person do a schedule to focus in one thing, like a clockwork, they say. Yeah. And to start to delegate and to have one person to focus in one thing.
Yeah, the focus was big. Juan, I think that was definitely for takeaways. That focus piece was huge. So just for you.
Can I have a question?
Oh, you're going to sneak a question in, Juan. Is it okay? Should I?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm trying to restart my laptop to see I can jump on my laptop. This other computer might
It's
stop.
okay. I promise I'm letting you go, so you don't have to go through all that. As long as you can still hear us, I'll just let Ursula ask her
I
question.
am still hearing you. Yeah.
Okay,
Go
go ahead,
ahead.
Ursula. One final one.
According to the close word, they say, how can you make your employees act like a owners? So you're going to free yourself from micromanaging. How did you guys, how does Juan handle that?
Um, there's a group of people that will believe in your vision in your company so much that they will just behave like they should behave. And those are the people that should be your leaders, your trainers, and the people that you always refer to. And there's people that will never do that. They will always just be an average employee looking for another job, and they will go eventually. So the goal is to, out of all your employees, a small percentage will really be those that will have skin in the game and will really believe in your business. The rest of them, some will just work a couple of years and give you no trouble, and nothing good or bad, just that's it.
Oh, we lost him. We lost him. Just he was going into that. That was a great question for Brian, as far as the development leaders. Who was it that I was talking to about the bus on Monday? I know it was Brian. Who else was that about? Was it
Heather.
It was Heather, the bus.
Right.
Heather, you just got an answer about the bus right there. Did you hear it?
Oh, I definitely need to hear it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We just lost him at the end. He might try and pop back on, but I'm like, my mind's blown right now. That was a clinic. It's everything I was hoping this series is going to be. This is the first of, I'm hoping to get like 4. If I have to run this all year long, I'm sure no one's going to object, right? If we just bring in 7-figure business owners and just have them just like the Tim Ferriss. I got this idea from the Tim Ferriss show, his podcast. He brings on ultra successful people and he deconstructs their success. How did you become so successful? And it's like, we can bring a guy, like I find a really humble, grateful man like Juan, who's extremely successful in his company, under 40 years old, a millionaire. I mean, it's amazing. Totally absentee, freedom, and he's humble. He's got just that heart for people. Like, well, what was it like at each stage? And that was a clinic we just went through. I'm so inspired from hearing this. Did it resolve some tensions or anxiety any of you have about growing your business? Do you feel like you were pushed down and you kind of feel a little bit freer now? Like
Yeah, what I was trying to articulate, the way he broke down the struggles of each stage or what you should be focusing on is like, it's a nice roadmap.
Yeah.
So it was that for me was like super helpful.
Yeah, and I was fighting for you guys to get those numbers. I was digging for you. I'm like, I know they want to hear, okay, what are the different milestones? So I was digging for you because he was going well with this, and I'm like, well, tell me about at stage 1, 2, 3. So he really laid that out in $250,000 increments. First of all, when he said from 0 to 100, you're not even in business. I'm like, well, thanks a lot. He's talking to me. Fantastic. His pipe hire HRM, you guys should seriously look into that. It's like that concept, like scoring people, and only there he is again. In midstream, Juan is just dropping some lyrics on us, and then bzz. Can you unmute, buddy? Mute. You're muted. You're muted. There you are.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, and by the way, I'm on borrowed time by so much, and I always let my experts go. So I don't want you to be here longer than you need to. Please go if you need to, but if you want to answer that final thing, awesome.
All right. Cool. Any other questions, guys?
You can't ask that question. You're supposed to go because they're gonna keep asking. They're like vultures over the dead carcass. I
What
was
I
question?
just wanted to deliver the more value that
there's no question. I was just promoting the Pipe Hire HRM and saying how amazing of a concept that is, and they should all check that out on your website. I personally really enjoyed feedback wise the focus piece. I also really like you and we connected because of vision. I put a comment on my group about, what's the vision of your company? How are you doing stuff to improve your community? And you posted something because of what you posted. I connected with that big time. And I think that's why we feel like we've been friends for a while, because we both believe vision is so vital. And I heard you lead this entire thing through with vision. Like you start with your why and it goes out to the how. Like I kept seeing you do that over and over again on this entire call. And that's refreshing for me to see that you always have a why that develops the plan and then you go do the plan.
Yes, correct.
So that was the most impactful to me, is to see someone that's actually intentional and you're calm, like you're just at peace. Like you look like you have an awesome life, man. You're just palm trees in the backyard. You jumping on a call. You got a company doing $1 million plus in a different state. I mean, you've got a bright future. It's so incredible what you've done, man. I'm so impressed.
Thank you, Ken. There's always problems that, at different stages, but I think once you build something that people want to be part of and work for, I think that solves a lot of the problems of, people quitting because they feel like they want to be here. And I think just, try to build that place where people just want to be working for. And that's going to be really, I call it a silver bullet. Is just people love being at your, working for you. So whatever it takes, just make sure people fall in love with in your business, and they just want to be around you. And that's when people say, I won't switch to another company because they pay me more. It's like, I just love being in this place. This company is awesome, and I just want to be here. And I think that's where we're trying to strive to get every day, is that specific place.
Perfect place to end. Juan, thank you again. I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate you just be willing to coming on here and sharing from the heart and allowing us to dig into your business and to your experiences, good and bad. In the few minutes you were gone, they're impacted. You have definitely impacted these people for the better. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Ken.
you.
And we'll see you around.
All right, tribe. That concludes our expert call for the month of April. Have a great day.